Hey y'all, it's your girl. I am back for another review. Before I start, I just want to tell you all a bit about how I came up with the channel name Mirror Expressions. And it's all because I invite you all to share a piece of you with me, as I am going to share a piece of myself with you all. And when you look in the mirror, you see a reflection of yourself. So all thoughts and opinions are reflections of you, hence a mirror expression. So whatever is on your heart, I invite you to comment. I'll engage with you. And so that's it. Let's just get started. Today we're reviewing Married to Medicine. It came back, y'all, yesterday. We are season 9, episode 1. And it's called Bless This Mess. So we open up and we get like, we see a minister. I guess I'm just kind of assuming. It seems like he's up there preaching the word or something, and all of the ladies and their spouses are gathered around. But as he's preaching, we get this montage of different snippets, I guess, of what's to come in the season, and it all aligns with the things that he's ministering about, like don't hate your neighbor, and then you see a snippet of two people getting into it. So it's that kind of thing. And then we open up, it's showing all the ladies doing their own little thing. And then we come with Jackie and Simone. They are back buddies. I'm so glad to see that. And they just pretty much said they got tired of fighting with each other. It was petty, and they had to meet in a common place and just decide to get over things. So they pull up, I think it's Jackie's house, if I'm not mistaken, and Cecil and Jackie's husband are out looking at these cars. And so Simone is like, no, we don't need another car, but I will do a commercial to help you get rid of it. And so they do a little home video of her doing this impromptu commercial. It was kind of funny or whatever. And then we see Curtis and Cecil go off for some hot wings, which Simone lets us know is a code word for the strip club. Jackie and Simone, they sit down and they're just catching up and snacking, because that's always, their food did not look very appetizing. And so they're just sitting there snacking. And Jackie says to Simone how she has gone to this class to learn how to do O shots. And apparently what they do is they take your blood, they draw it out, and then they run it through a cycle where they separate everything, and they take the platelets and inject it back into your body, but into the vagina. And it's supposed to give you a little bit more sensation. It sounds very similar to this process that I've had done on my feet. I had really bad bursitis and plantar fasciitis at one point, and my doctor was suggesting surgery, but I just could not be off of my feet for that long. And so he talked to me about these blood injections, because, you know, whenever you have a break in your skin, the blood comes to the surface. That's the healing properties, right? And so what they did was they withdrew blood from my arm and then injected it back into my foot. Well, before they did that, they stuck like needles all the way down in my foot, just to kind of agitate things down there, so that when they injected the blood down into my foot, the blood would congregate where those the needle injections were. And it worked. Like, I have not had any problems since. I mean, it's painful as hell, but the pain was definitely worth it compared to what I was living with on a daily basis. Those few days of pain, it was definitely worth it. And I've had relief for a while. I haven't had a foot injection in the past maybe 4 or 5 years now. So it was really good. But okay, so I'm getting off track. But anyway, so Jackie was talking about the O shots, and then she also mentioned there was something called a P shot that was supposed to lengthen and strengthen the peen. And Simone was like, no, I don't need nothing lengthened. Okay. So we move over to Heavenly, and she's talking to Alara, her daughter, and she's just growing up so beautifully. Matter of fact, just all of these ladies are just gorgeous. I just love it. And so Heavenly is talking to Alara about her schedule working with her beauty supply store. Heavenly has her own beauty supply store now. And so with school coming back, she's talking to Alara about her hours and the days that she's gonna work. Well, in walks Quad, Miss Quad. She got it. I love me some Quad and her one-liners. And so she comes on in, and she's like, where the people at? Like, I just love Quad. So she comes on in, and she talks to Laura about her birthday and how things are a lot different, because apparently Laura got a Range Rover for her birthday. And she was saying how she got just like this little Hyundai or Toyota or something for hers when she was that age. And so they had a little kiki about that. And then Dr. Damon comes in because he's about to take Alara out to drive. So when they leave, Quad talks to Heavenly about what's going on with her and Contessa. And we learned that Contessa and Heavenly have not really spoken since last season at the reunion. And Dr. Heavenly is saying that she doesn't know why. But then we get this little insert of Contessa saying that she's upset with Heavenly for talking about her on her own personal YouTube channel. And then they get to talking about Quad's home. And Quad, let me tell you. So she makes it known, y'all, that she has not received any help to get this home. She has done it all on her own. And she wants the world to know. Like, I don't blame her, because a lot of people were coming down on her, saying that she was just gold digging and she was with Dr. G for the money. And regardless of the fact, you cannot say that Quad does not work her butt off and that she has paved her own way. Like, she really has. So I'm loving it. We move on to Contessa. She's working out with a personal trainer. And the next thing you know, we hear him say, okay, go get in the bathing suit and some heels. And so you're looking like, what is that all about? Like, why you gotta get in some bathing suit and some heels? And to just work out. So we later learned that Contessa, or Contessa, as Dr. Heavenly like to call her, that she is training to compete in this fitness competition. And it's not surprising. Contessa, she's always doing something, so that's not surprising. In comes Scott and the children, and she kind of talks about how Scott and her were really in a bad place, and to the point where they were talking about divorce, even with the kids, and were about to sell their house. And then Scott decided that he didn't want to lose his family. He wanted to try the therapy route. And so everything's kind of been in a good place ever since. But I will say this. When I saw her in her confession, when she was talking about her and Scott and that they were in a better place, I kind of got the feel that that may not be the complete truth, because you can see that she was just like a snap fingers away from letting a tear fall out of her eye. Like, you could just see them welled up in her wells. And I just think that it was probably one of two things. Either they really are not in a better place and she's wishing they are, but maybe she's trying to not be so open as she was last season, or either she's just reflecting back on all the bad and how far they've come. Now, I hope it's the latter, but something's telling me that it really isn't, because she just had such a sad look on her face. Drop down in the comments your thoughts. Like, do you think they really are in a better place, or do you think it's kind of putting on for the cameras? Okay. Now we get a first look at Qua's house, and when I tell you the house is gorgeous, it is super gorgeous. We see her in the kitchen feeding her little fur baby. She still has the same two plus one. So Qua's home is just gorgeous, y'all. It has it going on. 6 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, 14,000 square feet. And she did it, like I said previously, all on her own. She didn't have a sponsor, as Heavenly had asked her about. Like, no, she did it on her own. And we also learned that her nephew is living with her because his father passed away, which is her brother. And I think she said he was only 34 years old. That's pretty young, y'all. He died from some type of heart complications, which I was just sad to see, because we also learned that her mother is living with her as well. And with speaking with her nephew about why he's not staying focused in the class, he brought up his dad. And so that just broke everybody down. They all three of them had a good cry, and I can really say all four, because I was over here in tears too. That just really broke my heart to see them dealing with that, as I have also lost a sibling as well. So I can kind of relate on some level to what they're going through. It was definitely heart-wrenching to see that. But I was really impressed with Mason, and that's the nephew, just to see how young he is. He's 6 years old. He's very, very tall for his age. But to see how young he is, and just having the ability to identify where those emotions were coming from and how they were showing up for him, like not staying focused in class. I was really impressed with how he was able to identify that and be able to work through those feelings. I remember seeing him and his dad when he was a baby on previous seasons, and yeah, that whole situation is just, it's just gut-wrenching. I hate to know that family is dealing with such a thing. To see Anila and her new home. It is finally finished after about 3 years. Her husband is like, if I could sum up building a home in one word, it would be regret. Dr. Kieran is so funny, but he is over this house. He says he has spent too much money, too much time to build this house that Anila is saying may not be their forever home. I think that they said they had a 1.5 million budget, and they ended up spending 2.5 million. So yeah, Dr. Kieran, he's over it. So Anila and her husband are getting ready to have their house blessing. And it's really, the house blessing is really just for the close family. And it's a cultural thing for them. It's a tradition. And so they have their priest there, and he is speaking Hindi and doing certain prayers to bless the house. So in the confession, the producer asked Anila, well, what are the prayers? And Anila was like, look, I'm American. I don't know. So basically, Anila does not know Hindi. She just knows it's a tradition, and what he's doing is what they usually do. But she doesn't really get it all herself. So I just thought that was kind of funny that, you know, here she is doing a tradition, and she doesn't really know or understand the depths of what all is going on, you know. So then they have this cow join the ceremony. Apparently, that's also part of the tradition. It has something to do with the gods or something or another. I kind of missed all that. But the cow, they start bringing along with them throughout the house, and the cow just slipping on the rug, about to fall face first on his after his feet just come from up under him. Then he poops on his steps, and everybody's like, who's cleaning this up? Because I'm not doing. The mother didn't even want to walk past the poop to get back into the house. I was as, oh, child, that could not be me. You know what I'm saying? Next, we move over to Toya. Oh, my gosh. Why have they moved yet again? Like, Toya, get yourself together, girl. After just having their dream home built, what, 2 or 3 years ago, it seems like? And here again, you are having another home built. Like, I just don't understand it. Like, make it make sense. And her reason was that home was not big enough for the family, the adults and the kids. I'm just like, homie, you got 2 adults and 2 kids in one house, and that home was not big enough for you all. Like, make it make sense. But she wanted an elevator and a tennis court, apparently. So, yeah, they're building a new home, and it's supposed to be ready sometime next year. Something is just sus with all of that. It just does not make sense at all. You just built a home, selling it, and you're building again. Like, yeah, something a little fishy in that water. But hey, does she like it? I love it. Then you got Eugene coming in. Oh, so this is what I want to say, because she said now the home is not big enough, and you got 4 people, 2 kids and 2 adults, and if you really look at it, it's really 2 kids and 1 adult, because Poe Eugene is never there. He's out there breaking his damn back to pay for all these different houses you haven't built. So Eugene does come in. He looking all tired, and Toya just being Toya, yelling at the kids. And he's just like, why you got to be so loud, basically? Like, I listen to loudness all day. Can I just come home and have a little piece of quiet? Pretty much that's how he was. And, Toya's just going to be Toya. She going to be extra. So, it is what it is. Toya brings up how Anila has stopped by and dropped off an invitation to her housewarming party. So she was really trying to be shysty about it, or shady, when she was speaking. And Eugene was pretty much just like, I feel like it's coming from a genuine place. But Toya was really wanting Eugene to hop on that shady wagon with her and be like, no. Because Toya thing was, she came, but she didn't even get out the car. She sent her son up to bring the invitation to the door or whatever. So Eugene was like, just go. I think it's coming from a genuine place. So we're now at Anila's housewarming, and everything is beautiful. They're celebrating Diwali festival, I think is what it's called. So they're kind of having two different celebrations in one: the Diwali festival and their housewarming. So they had the house blessing. Now they're having a housewarming, and the housewarming, of course, is for all of their family and friends. And man, it looked like they were just having a good time. I would have loved to have been there. Like, we see everybody getting ready to go. Contessa says she's a little apprehensive because she doesn't want to see Dr. Heavenly. Alora's helping Heavenly get dressed. Simone and Jackie and their husbands, they're all carpooling together to the party. And then, I mean, like I said, the party was just everything. They got drinks. They got the letters, the big letters that you can just stand beside and they're just as tall as you. They got those which are in lights. The house is outlined in lights. They got a lady doing henna. They got a DJ. I mean, it was just awesome. I really would have loved to have been there. It just looked like a fun time. So everybody's dressed for the Indian culture, even the men. I love seeing that. I love seeing all the elephants about. Shout out to my DST. And I mean, it just was fabulous. So Dr. Damon is seen conversing with another guest that just happens to be female. And of course, Heavenly is like, why everybody always got to be in his face? So Carrie Wells, she's there too. And let me just insert this right here. Like, I am just not a big fan of hers. Something she did seasons ago just really rubbed me the wrong way. And I just have not been a fan of hers since then, right? So anyways, Carrie kind of jumps into the business and she tells Dr. Damon that Heavenly is feeling a certain way about him talking to this female. And basically Dr. Damon's like, she has nothing to worry about, you know. And it's just like, why would you even get in there? Like, you know what I'm saying? So then we see Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Damon in their confessional. And the producer asks, well, is he allowed to have female friends, or does he have female friends? Something to that effect. And Dr. Heavenly was like, hell no. She is so funny. Oh my gosh. Y'all, I want to know, what do y'all think about that? Like, is your significant other allowed to have friends of the same sex? Or is there some kind of insecurity there that prevents that from happening? Or do you just believe that opposite sex cannot just be friends? Drop down in the comments. Let's talk about it, y'all. Let's get into it, y'all. You know, I think it's okay, but I think the dynamics probably have to be different than, like, say if it's a good homeboy. You know, like, say if my male mate had a female friend, like, I wouldn't want him hanging out with her in the same nature that he may hang out with one of his male partners, you know. But would I have a problem with him maintaining a friendship? Absolutely not. So, but I want to hear from y'all. Like, what are you all's thoughts? So now, then we see Anila and the family walk in, right? So it's her and Dr. Kieran, their children, and I think maybe like their, you know, parents or in-laws. I really don't know. They're walking in. They're kind of got this little tent over them that somebody's carrying along the way. So they're making their entrance, and so the DJ, he stops the music and he introduces them. You know, he's just like, I welcome Anila and Kieran, whatever their last name may be. And so Dr. Kieran was just like, that's Dr. Kieran. He was like, don't get it twisted, boo. You gonna recognize me for who I am. And then he said the DJ never did come back and correct himself, though. But it was just so funny because, baby, Kieran leaned all the way over that DJ booth and was like, it's Dr. Kieran. Oh, baby. He was like, you gonna say it and say it right, okay? Okay, so remember how I mentioned that everyone was dressed for the culture, the Indian culture. Everybody was giving what was supposed to be gave, right? And even the men, right? So then in comes Contessa and Dr. Scott. They finally show up. And tell me why that darn Contessa was dressed like a dang on Egyptian. Baby, you was doing it for the wrong culture. You were trying to take it back to your motherland, honey. I was too tickled. And then it had the nerves to look cheap. Like costume cheap. Like I think Anila said it best. Like it came from Party City. Baby, I was rolling. Then Toya and Eugene pull up in their little golf cart, and they were 2 hours late. And I want to say that Toya probably did that purposely. Like, there was no reason for that, Toya. 2 hours late. So she comes on in, and they got the dress code right, though. So I will give him that. And so we see them come on in and they're hugging, and her and Anila, they do hug it out. And then we get a look through the home. So Anila is kind of showing the ladies the home while the men kind of gather, I guess, like on a back patio, and they're smoking their cigars and talking. And so the home is very nice. And we learned that Anila says while they spend $2.5 million on the home, they barely had to buy anything to furnish it because it was all donated or given to her from her blogging. So I thought that was pretty impressive because I think she said everything that was given to them amounted to about $500,000, like $500,000, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what she said. So let me insert this right here too. I noticed this, like during this time, like when the women were being shown the house and like the men were outside, we were introduced to a new couple. I don't really remember their names. I just noticed it. I really didn't take the time to write it down. But the fact that they kept introducing them, because I think Heavenly introduced them first when they first arrived at the party. They came with Heavenly and Dr. Damon. And then the husband was introduced again to the guys as they sat out on that back patio and was just smoking. So I'm wondering if they're being introduced because they're going to be integrated into the show somehow, like maybe as a friend of the show. So I guess we'll just have to watch and see and just wait to see where that goes. So anyways, we get Quad talking with the Contessa, and she's kind of trying to convince Contessa to have a conversation with Dr. Heavenly. And Contessa is like, basically, she's not feeling it right now, you know. And her thing is, if she hurting, I'm hurting too. So why should I go to her? You know, I'm just as hurt. Basically, is what she's saying. She says that Dr. Heavenly is just being spoiled. Right. So the thing with Contessa, why she's so upset with Dr. Heavenly, is because Dr. Heavenly said that Scott was emotionally and verbally abusive to her. And actually, I think Dr. Heavenly was doing a lot, and it was asked to her. And she said that, yes, she felt that Dr. Scott was those things to Contessa. And quite frankly, you know, I have to kind of agree with Dr. Heavenly about that. You know, maybe not the verbally abusive, but I would err. You know, I'm not labeling anybody or anything, but I would lean more towards the emotional stuff. Maybe not abusive, but he was definitely toying with her emotionally. He was all the stunts that he was doing last season. Yeah, he was definitely just playing in her face all dang on day. So I don't think that Heavenly was in the wrong. Like she was literally just answering the question and giving her opinion. And she may have just also been coming from a place where she wanted her friend to just kind of wake up and see that she was in an unhealthy spot, you know. Now, would I have talked about that on a platform such as a YouTube channel? I doubt it, but these ladies, they live their lives in the spotlight. And like I said, we were privy to everything that went on last season. Well, at least to a certain extent of what we saw. And that was bad enough. So it's not like she was speaking on something that we were not privy to, you know. But she could have deflected the question or kind of glossed over it in a different type of way without so-called giving her real thoughts on it and just say her real thoughts for Contessa. But either way, I think those ladies should be able to move past that. Like, I don't think it's so serious that their friendship has to end, because they really have come a long way. I remember when Dr. Contessa and Dr. Heavenly just were always butting heads, and just to see where their friendship had been, and even just to hear like Dr. Heavenly at the beginning of the episode talk about how she really misses her, that they would talk daily and they would spend time together on the weekend. So it lets me know that they really had established a tight kind of friendship. And so I'm just hoping that those ladies can get back on track and that their friendship doesn't have to end, you know. So the episode goes on to end with Anila having this outfit change. She comes out in this fabulous red getup. I don't want to say get up. I guess a garb. I don't know. It was very little Indian attire too. But baby, she was giving everything they need to be given with that. And she goes up until like one of their little landings and does this Indian dance. It looked like she was doing the same moves over and over. And I think it was Toya that said, baby, she ain't got no rhythm. These women know they stay shading each other. But anyways, that was the episode, basically, in a nutshell. That was the end. And I loved it. I'm so glad to see Married with Medicine back. This is one of my favorite shows. So I'm really going to enjoy reviewing it for a change. And just looking at the preview for next week, oh my goodness, I think it's going to be even better than this episode. So supposedly they are trying to give Dr. Heavenly like an intervention basically on how to be a better friend. So I can't wait to see how that goes. But anyways, thanks you all for listening to this review. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Comment on some of the questions that I've asked. Give me your thoughts on how you see this video. Not this video, but this episode, episode 1. Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you looking forward to more? And I will see you all next time. Until then, I pray for you. You pray for me. And what? That's right. Bye.